Hey everyone, Isabelle Fox here. Tonight I'm going to give you a sneak peek inside an Escorts work bag by talking to you about what to pack for a booking. We're actually going to cover 3 different scenarios. First, the in-call scenario. So that's where, as an escort, you're working from your own location. You may have permanent access to an in-call. If so, I've given you tips about how to set that up to be most efficient and add the most value for your clients. Or you might be using a shared space or using a place from time to time like a hotel or booking an Airbnb. So apply what you can and throw out what you can't use. Secondly is an outcall. So this is where you go to your client's hotel or their residence. And lastly is I'm going to cover what you would carry around with you if you work at a parlour. So generally, if you work at a parlour, or also known as a brothel, you'll have a locker where you store your things. You might have to bring it each shift, or you might have a permanent locker. However, you'll generally do an 8 to 10 to 12 hour shift, and depending on how the brothel is set up, you'll have a bag that you carry around through that whole time. So I'll talk to you about the best things to be carrying around in that bag as well. Okay, starting with an in-call. Firstly, you should have condoms, and you want a variety of sizes. My experience has taught me that generally clients prefer that you opt for ultra thin. The brands that I like are Lifestyles Zero. It's a white packet with gold writing. Playboy, which is a black packet with different colored writings based on the size. Or Skin. I found that clients seem to like the Skin brand. It's probably the thinnest feeling. So if you can find that brand, that's generally a good one to go with. Secondly is lube. If you have a permanent in-call and you're able to stock up and bulk buy, that will be helpful. I personally have always liked just the simple wet stuff by Gold, and you can find it at any supermarket in basically all sex stores, and you can obviously buy it online. It is a white bottle with yellow or goldish brownish sort of writing. It's just a water-based lube, and the reason that I like it is that it is easy to use. No one ever has a reaction to it. It doesn't last for a really long time, but it also doesn't leave any sort of residue on your body. Pure is also a good brand. It's a silicone-based lube. I don't like it as much because it tends to leave a residue on your body. However, it does stay for a really long time. So if you have problems where you can't stay wet and you tend to dry up a lot, then Pure is probably a good brand for you. Lastly, if you do offer anal services, I highly recommend using an anal lube, but be careful that you ask the store person, whoever you buy this from, that this lube is compatible with condoms, because not all anal lube is. Toys. At the minimum, if you have a permanent in-call, then I recommend that you keep there a vibrator, a dildo, a double-ended dildo if you do bookings with couples or with other female escorts, handcuffs or some way to tie up a client, so perhaps a male suit tie. You might find some fun tie and tease specialty sort of props, and a butt plug or an anal toy. If you offer anal services, you can use them on yourself, or if you only offer anal services on the client, then you'll find that they might like that too. You never know when the urge might strike somebody. You should have a variety of outfits at your in-call. A minimum of 1 fantasy costume. I recommend choosing from schoolgirl, secretary, or gym. Schoolgirl is by far the most commonly requested outfit. Secretary and gym are also commonly requested, and most people can make this outfit from some of the things that they already have in their closet. Black lingerie is never a no. A colored lingerie option that you feel looks good on you. Stockings, and I suggest you have multiple pairs because obviously they rip easily and you never know when somebody will like them. You should have a variety of tight dress options, or alternatively a dress that looks really good on your body and enhances whatever your best assets are. So if you have a great bust but perhaps you don't feel so good about your lower body, then I suggest you pick a dress that really emphasizes your bust and draws attention to that area. If perhaps you don't have as large a bust, but you really love your legs, or you have a great butt, then I suggest you wear a dress that draws attention to that. Always work with whatever you have. I don't particularly like highly patterned or complicated dresses. Most clients seem to prefer just a one color, simple dress that shows off whatever it is you have to offer. Multiple pairs of heels, when in doubt, go for black stilettos. Have a black G-string, it's commonly requested. A bikini isn't requested as often as you would think, but I recommend having that in your wardrobe. And lastly, a casual outfit will be requested more often than you think. So I suggest that for a casual outfit, you have a jeans and t-shirt combo or a jeans and singlet. Another good option to go for are denim shorts, and also short skirts seem to be liked by most clients too. If you have control over how your in-call is set up, then I recommend you have to offer to clients when they arrive alcohol, water, Coke and Sprite. They're the most commonly desired beverages to share in. When I offer alcohol to clients, I generally have whiskey, vodka, gin, white wine, and beer. I stopped offering red wine to clients because there were too many issues with staining if people dropped it. I will also go to the trouble of getting a really nice bottle of champagne for a really great client or for a longer booking. You should have tissues in your in-call. I recommend having some in the bedroom next to the bed and also by the couch. If you have control over how your in-call is set up, you want to opt for as many large mirrors in as many places as practically possible. So in our living room, I have a really big full-length mirror so that we can see ourselves when we're on the couch. In the bedroom, we have multiple large mirrors. If you can get ones at every angle around the bed, then that is really great. In brothels, they actually have mirrors on the ceiling most of the time. Set up a soft lighting system with candles, but not so soft that you're almost in the dark. Clients still want to see you. So even though you want to set romantic lighting or you want to set lighting that makes you look good, also make sure that your client can actually see you. Have a really good quality music system. I recommend having a lock on the bathroom door, and for two reasons. Firstly, for safety, and secondly, for privacy. We'll cover safety first, and this ties in with having a spare phone kept in your bathroom. If you work independently and you don't have anybody checking in on you, then it is a very good safety system to have a phone in your bathroom, hidden somewhere where it's always fully charged and usable, and a lock on the door. The reason being is if something does go wrong during your booking and you can't really get away, but you can run, then you want to run to the bathroom, lock the door behind you, and call 000 or call whoever it is can come to help you. Really, if a situation is that dire that you're having to run from somebody and lock yourself in the bathroom, you should just be calling 000. Secondly, in terms of privacy, most people should be socially aware enough to know not to come into the bathroom after a woman, especially if she shut the door. Not every client knows that. So you might have a situation where you're sitting on the toilet or doing something else that isn't particularly sexy, and a client just waltzes in thinking that he's going to jump into the shower with you. Avoid that situation by having a lock on the bathroom door. You should always have mouthwash with you wherever you go. I personally like Listerine Spearmint, just the normal brand. I buy big bottles of it, and I found that this one doesn't leave any weird aftertaste, so have that ready to go for yourself and your clients. When operating an in-call, opt for black sheets. It's the best for any sort of messy situation, especially if you have your period and you're worried about it leaking. It's really just good to cover up anything that could possibly go wrong. Have sex sponges in your apartment, so you can buy proper sex sponges online from Saks, or you can use a natural sea sponge from any chemist. Now, not every escort chooses to work through her period. However, many of us do. So have specialty sponges to use that you push up inside yourself so that you can continue to work and the client is none the wiser. I always like to have male deodorant for my clients. You want them to be able to leave and go back to their lives smelling like a man and not like a woman, and also as fresh and ready to go as when he first arrived. And lastly, identify somewhere that you feel is a safe place to easily put your fees. There are many different places that you can do this. In a cutlery drawer under the cutlery is a good one. Just somewhere that you can access it quickly but also isn't out in the open. If you're going to an outcall, you're likely going to be arriving at a hotel with just a bag and yourself. So here is what I recommend you carry in your bag. You should have condoms of every size, meaning small, medium, large. You might also even need to have extra large, and you want to have multiple of every size. I personally always had a box with at least 5 of every size. You never know when a client will extend. You never know when they'll go for multiple rounds. You'll never know when the condoms will break, or they'll just want to take them off all the time and put them back on. So if you have an ample supply, you'll never be in a position where you run out of condoms at the moment where everything's meant to go off. So make sure you have lots of condoms to spare. Lube. You need to take a bottle of lube with you, whichever works best for you and your body. And you want to avoid having it spill in your bag. So I recommend putting your bottle of lube inside a sealed little Glad wrap bag or something like that, so that you can get to it quickly and easily without worrying about it spilling everywhere. Always come prepared to your bookings with anything the client has specifically requested. I will also take a change of lingerie. Firstly, just in case whatever I'm wearing gets dirty and I don't feel comfortable going home in it. Or secondly, if I want to change it up during the booking, even if the client hasn't asked. If they extend out of nowhere, that can be a really good surprise to give them too. If you have space, take a costume. If you have a schoolgirl outfit or a gym outfit, it's likely going to be micro-sized, so it shouldn't take up too much space. Take at least one toy. I would opt for a vibrator if the client hasn't specified otherwise. Take baby wipes. This will be helpful for your female areas if you need to freshen up quickly. It will also be helpful to clean up your face if it isn't fresh looking anymore. Nothing worse than leaving a hotel looking disheveled and messy when you just arrived an hour ago looking fresh and ready to rock. That will be an instant way to set alarm bells off for anybody who might be paying attention. You'll make the client feel better if you're always focused on discretion. Take a sex sponge for the same reasons we discussed earlier. You never know when your period could hit, so you want to have that ready to go. You don't want to turn up to a booking, about to get into the act, go to the bathroom and find that you have your period, especially when you're at a hotel where everything is white. Take mouthwash, because a lot of the time clients don't think to have this themselves. Take perfume. I recommend showing up in a large coat. You don't want to arrive attracting too much attention, but at the same time, you don't want to arrive in stilettos, a big black jacket, massive hair, massive hoop earrings. That's probably going to attract a lot of attention as well. So try to be smart about what you wear and when. If you're turning up on a Saturday night, it might be appropriate to look glammed up if you're going to, say, a 5-star hotel that also has a popular bar or restaurant attached. But if you're going somewhere on a Tuesday night to, say, the Mantra on Russell Street in Melbourne CBD, and you turn up in stilettos, a long black coat, large curled hair and hoop earrings, you're going to attract a lot of attention. So always dress for the occasion. I take a phone charger. You never know when you'll get an extension. You might have somebody who's waiting to hear from you. You don't want to be stuck in a position where you have to use the hotel phone to make personal calls. Opt for lip gloss rather than lipstick. If you've done your job well and you're wearing lipstick, it will end up all over you and all over your client. And lastly, take makeup to touch up before you leave or during your booking. If you're at a parlour, like I explained, you might have a locker where you can store your things throughout the night or permanently. However, you'll have a big bag that you're carrying around during the evening. Now, the way your shift plays out generally depends on the time of day that you're working. If you're working in a brothel where it's a busy Friday or Saturday night, you might not have time to be constantly going back to your locker, especially if it's a competitive environment. One of the brothels that I used to work at had a public area on a Friday and Saturday night where everybody milled about meeting, and the clients would speak with you, choose you, and then you'd go straight up to the room. They also had a private intro room where clients could choose to sit and meet the girls privately one by one if they wanted to. Now, on a Friday and Saturday night at that particular parlour, it got really busy, it got really competitive, and you'd often come downstairs from a booking and you would want to literally walk straight back into the room to meet a client and get another job and go straight back up. So you didn't have time to be going backwards and forwards from your locker, because time meant that it would cost you a client and it would cost you money. So this is what you really want to have in your bag ready to go, so you can essentially carry it from the start of your shift to the end without needing anything else. Have a toy. That way you can change it up and you can use it as an upsell during your booking. I recommend a vibrator. I always liked to use chicken fillet inserts. This is back before I'd had a boob job, and you have a client making a very quick decision as to whether he wants to book you or somebody else. So I did everything that I could to maximize my assets. Make sure though that you pull them out before you get into the act, when you're actually in the booking and obviously when the client isn't looking. Take some makeup to touch up your face in between bookings or at the end of your booking with the client before you go back downstairs to meet other clients. Take perfume. Take a change of lingerie and an outfit so that you can offer that to the client as a way to incentivize them before they book you. Take mouthwash. Now, most brothels are required, well, they are all required by law to have condoms and lube for you. Most brothels will also have their own mouthwash. However, on a busy night, it could run out and nobody's going to be taking the time to run you up mouthwash if they're busy actually making money. So take your own so you can always have a backup. The bag that you carry around, ideally you want it to be something that zips up or closes so that people can't just put their hand into it at any time, and so that you can keep discreet about the things that you're carrying around. But what you want to have in that bag too is you'll have a smaller bag for your fees. So you get paid during the night at the start of every booking, and you have to carry that money around with you all night. Hopefully you're working in a place where everybody is of good quality and good integrity and they won't try and steal your things. However, unfortunately, that isn't always the case, and the thing you probably care most about is your money. So I suggest you have a second smaller bag that zips up or is difficult to access. So it has a clasp on it or something like that, so that nobody can just see $100 or $50 bills poking out of your bag and grab them. Again, you want to have lip gloss rather than lipstick, and you should always have a hairbrush. It seems like you should think of that ahead of time, but you won't believe how many times people don't carry that in their bag. You want to be able to freshen up and look bright and sprightly for every client. Even if you've just seen 5 people in a row, you don't want to look like you've seen 5 people in a row. So always be aware of how you're looking and try to do quick little touch-ups during the night. That ends our video for this evening. I hope this has been helpful for you. Give these things a try, and as always, don't hesitate to get in touch with me.